Hi, my name is Jenny Lauren Dowden for Conduit News, and today we have U.S. Senate candidate Jake Bequette joining us. As many of you know, he is running in opposition against Senator John Boozman as well as Jan Morgan. Hi, thanks for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Well, listen, catch us up on your race. How is it going? Just give us a little update.
Well, it's been great. We're pounding the pavement, going all over the state of Arkansas. We're the hardest working campaign out there. We show up everywhere. It's been great to see the reception we've had all over the state. People are ready for a conservative warrior, not just a Republican who has an R next to his name. And now's the time. I think Arkansans are ready for bold leadership, those who can lead from the front, rally others to our cause, and really move the needle on the key issues that matter to Arkansans and America First patriots all around the country.
Talk to us about that R beside candidates' names. We are seeing that now in practically every Republican race, whether it's, all the way down to local House races, Senate, to your race. Voters are now like, you know what, that word doesn't mean anything to me anymore, the word Republican, or now they're putting conservative on all of their mailers and promos. So how do voters find out, okay, is Jake really the conservative candidate? What do they need to look for?
Right. I'm proud to say I'm a true outsider. I don't come from the world of politics. I think the people of Arkansas want disruptors, people who don't come from that mainstream, who didn't grow up in an age-old expectation of running for office. I mean, I'm an athlete, I'm a warrior, I'm a leader. I'm not someone who is going to DC to have my name on a desk somewhere or be cashing a paycheck. I'm there because I believe in the values that founded this country and the principles of limited government, of liberty. And I believe the people of Arkansas deserve great leadership. And right now we have too many rhinos, too many empty suits who are just looking to go along and get along, not actually move the needle and fight for the issues that matter to Arkansans. That's why I'm going to DC, is because we need real leaders, not just empty suit people who are just there to cash a paycheck.
So some would say that Boozman has experience, he has seniority, especially when it comes to, I believe he's a ranking member on the Senate Agri Committee. They would say, you know what, he didn't know a lot whenever he was there, but he's now representing and he is fighting for agriculture. That industry is a huge industry here in Arkansas. I guess what would be like the offsetting compensation if you were to come in when they already have a ranking member there? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, no one cares more about Arkansas farmers than me. It's a huge part of our economy, obviously. But when I talk to farmers all over Arkansas, they say, hey, Jake, in years past, in decades past, maybe our key issue was seniority or getting more in ag subsidies. But they tell me today they want to save our country. And they understand that those really aren't the key issues that motivate Arkansans, even Arkansas farmers. They care about the kitchen table issues, the issues that we talk about, around the dinner table, in our text messages, in our homes, that unfortunately many of our Republican leaders, they're not actually standing for. They're not actually fighting on those issues. And I'm someone who's different. I like to fight. I don't back down from a fight. That's why I'm running for office. That's why I want to represent the great state of Arkansas in the U.S. Senate.
So talk to us about those key issues. What are those to you that you would fight for?
Yeah, so when I talk to Arkansans, they talk about election integrity is a key issue. Obviously, Senator Boozman, he voted to certify the 2020 election. He even went a step further than that. He called it a free and fair election, agreed with Joe Biden that it was a free and fair election. He blamed Trump for January 6th, thought that President Trump should face criminal or even financial liability if he decided to run again. I think that's out of step with Arkansas. That's out of step with Arkansas Republicans. People understand that, if we can't have faith in our electoral system, we can't have a constitutional republic. And, it's a marquee issue for me is election integrity, also illegal immigration. John Boozman likes to portray himself as someone who's for strong borders, but he's part of the problem. He's been there for over 20 years. The border has never been worse. We don't have a southern border. He's even said statements like, he thinks illegal immigrants are just as American or more American than American citizens than the rest of us. That's just, again, that's out of touch. That's DC cocktail party talk that is really out of step with Arkansas Republicans. So I'm running to actually narrow that gap between the base, the beating heart of the grassroots, and our elected representatives. That's why I'm in this race.
Okay, switching gears just a little bit, there are reports circulating about your military experience, the time in the military. Do you want to address that at all?
No, I'm very proud of my military service. Like, I've been in the public eye for really my entire adult life. Like I said, I was a professional college and professional athlete. I served in the military. I'm very proud to say that I went through the officer candidate school program. I went through basic training, commissioned as an infantry officer, volunteered and graduated from U.S. Army Ranger School, and I served our country overseas in Iraq. So, I come from the military. I come from sports. I'm not a politician. People who never served in the military, if they want to attack me for my military service, good luck to them. But I'm very proud of the fact that, I wore the uniform of the U.S. Army. I served with the 101st Airborne. I deployed to Iraq. I think the people of Arkansas, they want to see leaders who lead from the front, as we say in the infantry, who don't come from politics, and that's me.
All right. What are you learning as you're touring Arkansas? Are you learning anything new that kind of caught you by surprise, especially with Arkansas voters?
No, I think everyone's they're very engaged, they're energized. They're paying attention to, the issues, obviously, but they're also paying attention to who's representing me. Is it a rhino? Is it someone who's just saying these things as a slogan, hoping to hoodwink voters? Or is it someone who actually believes what they say they believe? And so I think now is a great opportunity. Look, we've seen these election cycles in the past, like the Tea Party wave in 2010, like the Contract for America wave in 94. These are the real opportunities we have to take advantage of when voters are very energized, they're very engaged. I think we have a chance this election cycle in 2022 to build a new coalition. The Democrats have gone too far to the left. They've gone totally out of what was once the mainstream. They're hard left now. They're radical.
Yeah.
And I think more people, you're seeing it in polling, people from different backgrounds, people who weren't even Republicans, they might be independents or even Democrats. They're rejecting this far left ideology. And we can build that new coalition that can crush the radical left and actually restore liberty to Arkansans and people around the country.
Okay, last question before we talk about your campaign, how people can get involved. Here at Conduit, we are so focused on individual liberty, protecting those freedoms and liberties, but also economic prosperity. If you do not have economic freedom, forget about the social issues, because as long as the government has your money, you are not free.
Right.
So what does it look like for Arkansans? How would you help Arkansans become more economically free and prosperous? What does that look like to you?
Well, obviously the federal government is totally out of control. It's a leviathan. We tax too much, we spend too much, we have too many regulations. There's a lot of Republicans who talk about trimming around the edges of the federal government. I want to actually abolish some of these federal agencies. The Department of Education. I was
going to say, okay, what about that?
The ATF. These things are totally out of control. There's the fourth branch of government, the unaccountable administrative state. That's really the fight of our time, because they've clawed away, some of the powers that are given to Congress and to the executive branch. They're this fourth branch of government that's out there that really has a lot of power in American daily life. We saw it with the mandates, we see it with regulations and taxation and all these administrative powers. We have to claw that back. We have to restore the founders' vision for our country, which 3 separate co-equal branches of government. And right now we don't have that. I'm fighting to restore it.
All right. How can people find you, get involved with your campaign? Early voting is so soon.
Yeah, it's coming up May the 9th. Absolutely. Get out there and vote. JakeBequette.com, JakeBequette.com. That's my website. Go to my website, support us, get out there and vote. It's going to be a close race. We're very excited, but I think we're going to pull this off because the people of Arkansas are ready for a conservative warrior, and that's why I'm in this race.
Thank you so much for coming to Conduit today.
Thanks for having me.